It's not a situation of just saying, give every officer a gun. That's not the methodology for ensuring that the security procedures in Anguilla are at the highest level. It's not necessarily the most effective either. So we have to ensure, and as the Commissioner of Police continues his work in relation to the comprehensive response to gun violence and crime in Anguilla, Madam Speaker, I'm sure we will see the wider picture in as much as is possible to share, because some of the procedures of the Royal Anguilla Police Force will not become part of the public discourse just because of the confidential nature of those security procedures. But with that said, Madam Speaker, I do generally rise in support of this Firearms Amendment Act, and of course in relation to the continued legislative amendments to help secure Anguilla. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Are there any other contributions? If there are no other contributions, I invite the mover to respond, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to all colleagues who have contributed useful remarks on the contents of this very, very short amendment. That being said, Madam Speaker, I don't wish to over-elaborate anything on this matter. I think it's well understood. This measure is not unusual, and it's really to enlarge the ordinary kit of the police, the equipment. It's almost like a workman with his toolbox. You have the spanner, you have the screwdriver, the wrench, and so on. This is just another tool for the police. And so, Madam Speaker, with that being said, I beg to move that the bill shortly entitled Firearms Amendment Number 2 Act 2024 be read a second time.
Thank you, Honourable Member. It has been moved and seconded that a bill shortly entitled A Bill for Firearms Amendment Number 2 Act 2024 be read a second time. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. I call upon the clerk to read the bill a second time.
An act to amend the Firearms Act, Revised Statutes of Anguilla, Chapter F30.
Under Rule 45 of the House of Assembly Rules of Procedure 2021, the bill now stands referred to a committee of the whole Assembly to be considered clause by clause. Assembly in committee.
Clauses 1 through 3.
I put the question that clauses 1 through 3 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
The title and the enacting clause.
I put the question that the title and the enacting clause do stand part of the bill. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. The Assembly will now resume its sitting. The mover may report.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the bill shortly entitled Firearms Amendment Number 2 Act of 2024 has passed through committee without amendment and is ready for its third reading.
A bill for Firearms Amendment Number 2 Act 2024, third reading.
Madam Speaker, at this juncture, I wish to seek permission of the Speaker for the suspension of the rules and the usual course of business for the bill to move quickly to third reading. I so beg.
Can someone second? Someone moves for the bill, for Rule 44 of the Rules of Procedure to be suspended. So I, under Rule 36, I consent to the proposing of this motion. Now you may move. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We'll come to that. Madam Speaker, the reasons are not far to seek and are not very extensive. As one sees there is a very dynamic and concerted effort to equip the police to deal with the emerging situation with crime and violence in the community. In addition, it is part of the modernization of police approaches to the detection, prevention, and the suppression of crime and disorder in the community. The use of tasers is not something that is as a result of a knee-jerk reaction. It has been in some time coming. It was a developing and evolving discussion for quite some time, but what was necessary, of course, was the training for it in its use and management. And because we have, at this time, made significant adjustments to the police, sorry, not the police, but the penal laws in the territory, namely the Criminal Code and the Firearms Act in relation to gun violence, as well as was detailed in the budget address in December of 2023, that significant support would be given to the police. This is one area of that demonstration of support, and it is necessary, therefore, for the completion of the police kit that these things be on stream without delay. And so that principally is the essence of the animating reason for taking it through its stages at one sitting. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you kindly for the explanation. Now you may second, member.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second.
It has been moved and seconded that the rules of procedure of the Assembly be suspended to allow the bill entitled A Bill for Firearms Amendment Number 2 Act 2024 be now read a third time and passed. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Rule 44 of the Rules of Procedure is now suspended. Okay. Now we can move.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill shortly entitled Firearms Amendment Number 2 Act 2024 be read a third time and passed.
Madam Speaker, I second.
It has been moved and seconded that a bill shortly entitled A Bill for Firearms Amendment Number 2 Act 2024 be now read a third time and passed. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. I call upon the clerk to read the bill a third time.
An act to amend the Firearms Act to revise statutes of Anguilla, Chapter F30.
Bill read a third time and passed.
Private members' bills, none. Private bills, none. Other orders of the day.
The honorable member for Sandy Hill is recognized.
Thank you. Good morning to you, Madam Speaker, and to members of this honorable House, listening and viewing public and persons in the gallery. Madam Speaker, many of us may have heard by now of the sad news of the passing of Mrs. Cerise Banks late last night. And Mrs. Banks was the wife of our former Chief Minister, former Premier, and former member of this honorable House, Mr. Victor Franklin Banks. And she would have left to mourn Mr. Banks and her 3 children, Letitia, Khalida, and Latif, as well as grandchildren, family, friends, and loved ones. And so, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the loyal members of the opposition in the Anguilla House of Assembly, on behalf of the Anguilla United Front Party members, residents of District 2, people of Anguilla, and on my own and my family's behalf, I do rise to give deepest and sincerest condolences to Mr. Banks and his family on the loss of Mrs. Cerise Banks. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Any other orders of the day? The Honorable Member for Island Harbor is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning to you, Madam Speaker, to the members of the House, members in the gallery, those listening and watching. Certainly it is a sad day, and I'd like to echo the words of the Leader of the Opposition and wishing heartfelt condolences to the Honorable former Premier, Mr. Victor F. Banks, and his family. I would have spoken with Mr. Banks this morning and certainly understand the grief that he is going through right now. Madam Speaker, death is not one that is ever acceptable, even if, you know, the person has been ill. So on behalf of myself, my family, the Anguilla Progressive Movement, the people of Anguilla, the government of Anguilla, we wish heartfelt condolences to the Banks family. Others, Madam Speaker, who may have lost loved ones, we too want to give our condolences, and certainly those who are sick. We pray speedy recovery and God's mercy upon them. And just to say, Madam Speaker, we want to give commendation to the Commissioner of Police for, moving forward with this, getting this firearms amendment passed for the use of tasers. I certainly would have been present at the training, some of the training days, and we saw how meticulous they are about the use and also the policy that is pending in terms of how it would be employed, Madam Speaker. But also to know that there is a robust response to the increase in gun crime and violence, and that is coming, Madam Speaker, and I'm certain that Her Excellency the Governor, myself, and the Commissioner will be giving more information on that in the coming days. I want to thank the Attorney General for the efforts that he has put in to make sure that everything is being done in order, and so that, everything is put in place so that we can combat this crime, which seems to be not only in Anguilla, but throughout the region, Madam Speaker, and maybe even throughout the world. So I thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other orders of the day?
Madam.
The Honorable Attorney
Thank-
General is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to join with the Leader of Opposition, the Honorable Premier, in recording my sadness. I did not know until I heard the Leader of the Opposition give this very sad indication. I had the privilege to have met the Honorable Victor Banks' wife on 2 occasions. He introduced us, and it was not that long ago. And he's a gentleman for whom I have enormous respect, and it is very sad to hear this. As the Premier indicated, grief is something that, particularly when it is a very close loved one, it is a burden that is immeasurable and often difficult to bear. And so I hold him and his family in my prayers and my thoughts. And I wish that he and all of his family know that they have my deepest condolences. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Any other orders of the day? If there are no other orders of the day, I too wish to join members of this assembly in conveying condolences to the former Chief Minister, Premier, member of this Honorable House, Mr. Victor Banks, on the passing of his wife. And I do so on behalf of the staff of the Assembly and indeed my family and on my own behalf. Thank you. We move for adjournment.
Adjournment.
Madam Speaker, I rise to beg that this honorable House be adjourned until Tuesday, the 13th of February at 10 a.m.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second.
It has been moved and second that this honorable House now stands adjourned until February 13th at 10 a.m. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. This honorable House now stands adjourned until February 13th at 10 a.m. Thank you, members. Have a good day.